portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man, with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one: concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly.
Picked me up by my feet, and I'm upside down. They proceeded to drop me on my head, hog-tied me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck.
I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, see, what's wrong with it? There's no such thing as improper way. I know the law. I know the law. I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration? To profile, I use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Give me a favor, take out your keys.
Yeah, you can record me. What? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call the supervisor? I want to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we're getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardes Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 and 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they can never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check, mic check. This is West Wednesday number 390. The West Coalition, along with Tawanda Jones, has been fighting for justice for Tyrone West and all victims of police violence for 390 weeks. I'm going to turn this over to Tawanda West. Mic check. Tawanda? Tawanda? Mic check, mic check. This is West Wednesday number 390. The West Coalition, along with Tawanda Jones, has been fighting for justice for Tyrone West and all victims of police violence for the past 390 weeks. I'm going to turn this over to Tawanda Jones. Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you so much, Brother Ben. So as my brother Ben said, this is week 390, day 2,730. So for non-stop, we've been fighting for accountability. Unfortunately, not just for my big brother Tyrone West, but for all the victims of police brutality and murder. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in today. And I'm basically about to bring on a guest that is very special to me. That's why I pretty much dedicated this show, because you know normally we'll have 2 special or 3 special guests on, but tonight I'm just bringing on our Queen Mother Nana, and this woman wears a lot of crowns. I'm trying to tell y'all. And remember, I told you guys that I was going to be involved with something that was coming real soon at the end of the month. Well, she's going to tell you everything all about that. And right now, so basically, if you saw that video, please keep in mind that that video is real. Literally, that is a repeat violent offender, Ruiz, who basically stopped my brother's vehicle for no reason. My brother wasn't riding around on any suspended tags. He wasn't doing any traffic violations, even though they called it an alleged traffic stop, but they had no reason to pull him over. No reason to pull him over. The only reason why he was targeted, let's be crystal clear, because he was black and he was driving a Mercedes-Benz, and Ruiz thought that he was a drug dealer. He basically pretty much stereotyped him. And keep in mind, Ruiz, that officer that you just saw, he is a part of the elite gun trace task. So I want you guys to stay tuned. Keep in mind about the part 1 of the video, because we will definitely be showing you guys part 2 of the video at the close of West Wednesday. But we're not going to stop until killer cops are in cell blocks. Like, all we want is accountability. We're not asking anybody to do us any favors. Like, literally, it's just said that we as black and brown folks in America have to literally fight our way for everything. Like, fight for stuff that's supposed to be given to us. Literally, if I go out and murder someone, you will probably never see me again. If my brother Tyrone West would have done the things that Ruiz and those 11 and 15 killer cops did to one unarmed man, he was unarmed, wasn't doing anything, literally, and was murdered, beat to death in broad daylight. Witnesses saw everything. They videoed it. To this day, we have no video footage. We have nothing. We don't put in the Public Information Act before, and basically, the only thing that disclosed the first time was the killer cop David Lewis from Morgan State University. We asked for video footage. We asked for everything, and we got nothing. So hopefully this time around, because we're working on getting the Public Information Act again, hopefully that it will be more to come out of it. But again, I want to bring on my Queen Mother, our Queen Mother, Nana, and she's gonna, and I want her to let us know where she at, because wherever she is right now, the time is 3:30, literally. It's 3 something, and you know here it's like 6:30 plus or whatever. But anyway, no further ado, we're gonna give a mic check, and we say that, Sister Queen, we're actually bringing somebody on. So mic check.
Mic check. Thank you so very much. I'm so really honored to be here, Tawanda. I tell you all the time, I am so inspired by you. I mean, your strength just gives you extra globs of beauty on top of the beauty that you have already. I see you, and I see those black women who, if it were not for black women with your spirit doing what you do, we would not be here today. They would have exterminated us like they planned to. And even though your brother has been killed, he still lives because of the work that you do, as well as the work that he's left, you know, the goodness that he brought to this planet. And so want to thank you so very much. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for fighting so that we can win. Really appreciate it, and appreciate the entire West Wednesday team. Thank you for the support that you're giving my sister, my beloved sister, and that you're giving all of us who are fighting for liberation, freedom, and justice in this country and in this world. So my name is Nana Gyamfi. I'm here with a bunch of hats. One of them, and the main one, is as the president of the National Conference of Black Lawyers. We are a national organization with local chapters. We're over 50 years old. The first attorneys that founded our organization represented folks like Angela Davis, represented folks in Attica during the Attica Rebellion. We are the legal arm of the Black Liberation Movement. And I also am the executive director of the Black Alliance for Just Immigration. And we're a national organization as well that advocates and educates and organizes on behalf of the roughly 10 million Black migrants and their families in this country. This work connects because when we're talking about Black immigrants, what we suffer in terms of criminalization are similar to what African Americans suffer. I mean, when folks look at me, my parents are from Ghana, I was born here, the police don't care. There's nothing special about me that makes them think that they shouldn't target me or can't target me and my family. And so this is an issue that we have to deal with as Black people generally in this country, and one that we must fight together. There is a lot, just looking at the video and just commenting on that, we know, all of us, I live here in Los Angeles, actually in Inglewood, and I've been a movement attorney dealing with these types of cases, mainly doing criminal defense, but also dealing with police violence for over 26 years now. Every neighborhood got them a Bernardez Ruiz. And we all know who they are, right? We talk, we go to the police station, we go to these civilian review boards, we go to the city council meetings, we go to the mayors, and every one of us, anyone that's listening and watching right now, there's at least one or two Bernardez Ruizes in your community. That's not living there, but terrorizing the people in the community. And so this is not something that is a new issue. This is an issue that if we look at all of the different folks in our community that have stood up, we will find somewhere in what they've talked about the issue of police violence, of police terror, of police crimes, of police murder as a constant that has been happening in our community, not just in the South, not just in the cities, but everywhere. And so when I look at this video, it's just a reminder that this conversation that they like to have about a few bad apples is such a lie, and we know that it's a lie. We know that it's a lie, Tawanda. We know that there's not just a few bad apples. It's a structural problem. It's the way that police function. It is what their function is. It's not an error. It's not a mistake. It's not something gone wild. It is actually what they were set up to do. And so when we fight against police, against the existence of the police system, that's how we're fighting for our liberation. Because the two things cannot coincide. They can't coexist. We can't have police in our communities and have communities where we can be safe. And we want to take this understanding to not just, having it within our communities, because we know, we know what we know, but taking it to bigger stages, including this international stage. And so as you know, Tawanda, there was an effort by, so many efforts that have been made, let me step back, over time, right? From before, as I said, Paul Robeson and others brought in the document, We Charge Genocide, right? That we know that the Million Women's March and the sister that's running that is trying to do again. We Charge Genocide 21. This has been an issue. But in more recent times, ever since we've seen the killings of Oscar Grant, and we've seen the killings of, you know, others all through this time period leading up to where we are right now. We've had these efforts made to go to the UN, to go to international circles, and they've often been rebuffed. Like, they'll listen to one person here, one person there, but not really investigating the way that we need it investigated. And so there was a recent effort by the ACLU in their international section and the U.S. Human Rights Network to, with lots of family members and lots of organizations who signed on, to go to the UN and to get the UN to focus specifically on the structural racist violence by police in the United States against Black people. And the administration of 44 and a half, as I call him, I try not to say his name, and I don't give him his whole 45. So the administration of 44 and a half, they decided to push back against that and to make it not just the United States, but an investigation of everyone. And so the National Conference of Black Lawyers, another very progressive organization, the International Association of Democratic Lawyers, and the National Lawyers Guild, we combined forces and said, we're going to do this still. We're still going to do something on the international scene. We're still going to reach out to judges all over this world. We're still going to reach out to family members and to their attorneys. And instead of it just being a paper, you know, that's being submitted, we want them to hear from folks, to get the human aspect of what this is by talking to human beings. And so we reached out to some family members based upon cases that we pulled in. We looked at cases where we said, even if everything they said was true, was this justified or not? And we said it wasn't. And we reached out to those family members, and graciously, folks like my sister, Tawanda, agreed that they would allow the commissioners to hear their loved ones' cases and share with the world what has happened here and push again for an investigation by the UN. And so there's going to be judges that are coming from all over the world, from Latin America, from North America, from Africa, from the Caribbean, from Europe, and from Asia, who are going to hear. Now I think we're at 40 cases over a 3-week period. It's going to be public, and so we'll definitely share that information with West Wednesday so that you all can share it with everyone. And we're going to hear particularly from Ms. Tawana and our team on the case of her brother, Tyrone West, about that particular case. We're going to present that to the commissioners. That's going to be a public happening, and we're hoping that, you know, people will join us. If you want to get more information, you should go to inquirycommission.org, and I'm going to share that information so that you all have it and can post it up. Let me share it here in the chat. So it's inquirycommission.org, and that will get you all the information. You'll see the press release, you'll get the hearing schedule, you'll see specifically when Tyrone's case is going to be heard. You'll have the opportunity to share the links, etc., with other people so that you can join by Zoom. We're really hoping that you will support. If you're part of an organization and you want to endorse this commission, there's a page on there on the website where you're able to endorse, let the whole world know that yes, this is important. We must get international eyes investigating what's happening to our people here, and we must make this end. Thank you so much, Tawanda.
No, my queen, I just want to thank you for all the hard work and dedication. Pure dedication. And before I actually got a chance to, for the first time seeing your face, I thought with all the work and years, I thought like you was gonna be an elderly woman or something. I'm sorry, like, and I'm like, this damn queen, like, okay. So, but I'm just glad to meet you. And even though it's like bittersweet, because I wish I didn't even have to meet you. I wish that my brother Tyrone West would still be living and breathing. They took something so precious from my family that they could never give us back. They could never give us back. And I just want my brother children to know, and I want the whole entire West family to know, until my coffin drops, I'm never going to stop fighting for my big brother Tyrone West, but not only just him, all the victims of police terrorism. And I just want to thank my queen. And again, we're definitely going to connect, and we will support you and endorse you in whatever way, form, and fashion that we need to do. And I just want to thank you. Is there anything else that you want to share? Because I know there's a lot going on. It's very important. So is there anything else you want to share? Or Brother Ben, do you have any questions? Any questions or comments? Or Brother Brian, before we let our queen go? Our mother queen.
I just wondered if you could give us a little bit of a history, like how was the commission formed, where did it come from, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. So, interestingly enough, NCBL has done this before, but it was in 1979. Of course, it was not COVID, so we could do it in person. This is going to be over Zoom, right? And I was not there then. I was a child. but I understand that NCBL went all over the country. And at that time, they were just really looking at police violence, police murder in the United States. They were looking at how it affected people of color and other, oppressed, impoverished people in this country. They went to reservations to talk to indigenous people who actually have a very high percentage of people who are killed by the police, and did then as well. And so they went there. They went to rural areas that often are ignored, right? We usually focus on the cities. And then, of course, they went to cities and places where you had large Black populations. And the jurors from all over the world, instead of doing it online, of course, were there physically, like flew in to go place to place. And that turned into a report. That hasn't really been done on this scale again until now. So think about how much time has passed, right? Since you've had something on that scale where you have international folks flying in to be able to do this kind of work. It is, our work is led by the incomparable Lennox Hines, who is an attorney extraordinaire, a warrior himself. We have Kerry McLean with NCBL, and so many others with these other organizations that are helping to put the information together. Lennox brought us all together, brought in a brother named Emma McDowell, who is someone who is directly impacted, who has worked from the inside, behind the walls, and come out and continue to work on behalf of our people. He's helping us to do outreach. We have law students that I'm working with here in Los Angeles, Black law students with part of another group that I founded, Justice Warriors for Black Lives. And so Lennox got us together, pulled together the organizations, and said, this is something that we must do, and we totally agreed. And so we have a steering committee, which is made up of people from these three organizations, and we just begin to put in some work. So we started last year, towards the second half of the year, and our expectation is for us to start our first hearings next week, and they'll continue on from 3 weeks after that. But I mean, we got folks, there's one of the people on the steering committee, Richard Harvey. He is a white man in England, and he was the original rapporteur, the original person doing the report in 1979.
Wow.
When he was a young whippersnapper, but still doing it, just to give you a sense that people are doing this work. And some of these people like Lennox, like Richard, like Jeannie Meyer have been, and Claire, and others or Beth Lyons, Ann Elf, have been doing this work for a long time. Longer than Claire, Pooja, Carrie, and I.
That's amazing.
So just another piece that I just wanted to add, before I go, looking at what's happening right now, what's just happened over the past week and a half, and thinking about, there's a lot of comparisons that people have made around what would happen or what has happened, for example, at Black Lives Matter protests, and what, in terms of the police response, and what the police response has been at the Capitol. And, there's a couple of things that I'd love to raise about that, before I go. And, of course, if people have additional comments, I would love to hear them while I'm still on. One of the things is I think we should be really careful in how we do the comparison, because we want to make sure that we're not doing what they do and making it like Black Lives Matter protests are the same as what happened that they did, right? We go, and yes, I mean, here in Los Angeles, Black Lives Matter, has gone to, Black Lives Matter Los Angeles has gone to commission meetings of the police and, disrupted those meetings or taken over those meetings, right? Have gone with partners over to the City Hall, Los Angeles Community Action Network, which is a partner of Black Lives Matter that focuses on houseless folks, the unhoused. We've never destroyed property, defecated, sat in people's seats, put people engaged in violence, broken windows. Like, that isn't what we do. And so to compare the two really is like more than apples and oranges. It's like oranges and chicken. Like, they're not even in the same food basket. You know what I'm saying? They're not even the same aisle of the marketplace. It's a totally different thing. Black Lives Matter protests are protests. What we saw was white mob violence. White supremacist mob violence, to be more specific, right? That's why it came with Confederate flags. And it came with people in camouflage with zip ties. That is not what you see happening at Black Lives Matter protests. So I think it's important that we make that distinction. And I think it's also important that we don't give space for people to now come up with new laws against disruption, right? That come up with harsher sentences around disruption, because we know full well if they're going to limit us to parades, right, where we get a permit and they say it's okay and the police are alongside us while we're marching in the street, we're not going to get anything done. We don't want to give up our right. Disruption is part of free speech. What they did was not disrupt at that Capitol. That was way beyond disruption. That was actual violence, right? And we want to make sure that we don't allow them to come up with laws that they pretend are going to cover them that really cover us. I don't know how many of you know about this 3 strikes law in California, but I was, just became an attorney around the time that started in 1994. They told us the 3 strikes law was for murderers and people who molested children and who and what, and people were like, yes, put them in jail for life. That's not what it turned out to be. They started locking up people who stole a piece of pizza, who took, someone with the alcohol addiction who stole a bottle of St. Ives out of the refrigerator. Right? I mean, I literally had a case like that. And they were trying to give him 425 years to life because he had 4 priors also related to his alcohol addiction. You feel what I'm saying? They will pretend it's for this when it's actually for us. And so I think that's another point I really want to make, that we not give them more opportunity to get more tanks, to do more surveillance, to put more cameras up that we can't see, to be able to track us more easily through social media without getting a warrant, to be able to charge us with harsher sentences. Let's not allow them to have the opportunity to use that on us just to pretend to respond to this white mob violence that just happened.
Mic check, sis. I just want to comment on what you're saying. I'm so glad that you broke it down for the listeners, for the ones, people in the back that don't even have no idea what you're talking about. Because what's happening now, I'm seeing a lot of people that are comparing, and it's basically, to me, it's like the dog and pony show. It's actually designed for us to kind of compare, because we're like, because even I said, hey, we would have been out there peacefully protesting, right? It would have been a bloody scene, right? We know what would have happened. But let's be clear on the facts that, for one, we're not getting mad about, like, we're not doing a hissy fit and throwing a racist mob to come and kill folks. When we're out there, let's be clear, the people that are out there, we're fighting for black and brown bodies that are basically murdered. They're fighting now, fight 2 total different. They're fighting because of an election. Are you freaking kidding me? We ain't the same. That's all I want to be clear. We're not the same. People that go through that, to live through this every single day. We're fighting for our freedom. We're fighting. and we have nothing to lose but our chains. That's a big difference from a bunch of racist, terrorist people coming in their arms and doing their thing, and they get to walk out of it. We already know that it's designed the way it is, but we need to be clear when we see these things and call it out, because what happens is they always keep us holding the bag. Like literally, none of them, like they all, to me, I feel like they're making out right now, because you actually had an officer murdered, and as well as people, let that would have happened in a black folks event, right? Or something, they would have been charged with everything, like all type of charges would have been thrown upon them. Let's see what charges they get, and let's see what charges they. Like this is ridiculous. So I just wanted to make sure I made that point, and I totally agree with you. And I got a question for you. If you could answer this kind of like flip side or whatever, kind of sidebar. My thing is, the question I really want to ask you is, why is it so freaking hard for us to get accountability for our loved ones? And to me, accountability is not a goddamn paycheck. They can take their money and stick it where the sun don't shine, because none of that brings our loved ones back. Real accountability is holding them criminally charging them for their offenses, criminally charging them as if they would to us. And it seems like everybody that's like literally like the people of power that have sort of power that can basically have people watching them, they're not talking about the right thing. They're always watering stuff down. They want to talk about legislation, which is cool. We do need to change these lynching laws, because until we get that right, history's going to repeat itself, and I agree. But nobody wants to hold these killer cops accountable. My biggest thing, and I always be screaming, let's reopen these cases, right? And start right there. But like when in the light of George Floyd being murdered, everybody, we had Reverend Al, the one who I call him the house Negro. That's my view, nobody else's view. But he wanted to lead all of our protesters and everybody down a dead end alley, basically saying, oh, well, let's just talk about this on the books. We got enough stuff. I'm tired of the book. Let's close the book. Why can't and then if you look at what happened with R. Kelly, right? There was just a documentary, right? Where women were talking about him abusing their children or whatever. And they damn near threw the book at him. He probably never see the street again, and he shouldn't. But my whole thing is, all them damn documentaries I've been in screaming about what they did to my brother, all the documentaries, why can't we get the same type of accountability? That's what I want to know.
So I'll say this, there's a couple of reasons, which is part of the reason why someone like me is an abolitionist. Because I'm like, the police actually do not keep us safer. And the system actually does not keep us safer. Because if it is not willing to deal with police, then how is it keeping us safer, right? So the police are given in so many of the states, so many jurisdictions. Number one, they're given these spaces where they can hide to avoid accountability. And the legislation, like the Police Bill of Rights and all of these other things that really do exist, but they're used. The way they maneuver them is in such a way that allows the police to still escape accountability. So I'm going to give you an example of what I'm saying. Supposedly, the police are not allowed to use deadly force unless they have a reasonable belief that someone is about to use deadly force against them. That's the same rule for me and you. We don't have different rules, okay? People like to feel, black folks, we talk about if someone come in our house, we just gonna blow them away. Okay, you'll probably go to jail, because you can't just blow people away because they came in your house. It would be, that you gotta have some sense that, hey, you're in deadly danger, right? You're in that kind of mortal danger. And so, if you look at the situation like your brother's situation, there's no mortal danger to them. There's no way that they're in fear of their lives. Okay? So if it was you or me and we beat down anyone like that, if we said, well, I was in fear of my life, they would say, really? Well, was the person shooting at you? Did they stab you? Did they this and that? And if the answers were no, we're going to prison. Like, we don't have any other options. And we have to prove, we have to go to court, right? And prove, even though we're innocent until proven guilty. As black women, no, we're not. So we would have to prove that we were terrified, we were in fear for our life, and this was the only way that we could, what we could do. What they do with the cops is, firstly, they just decide ahead of time. They don't make them prove anything. They say, oh, well, the cops said they were in fear of their lives. And that's it. That's it. Now, so the law on the books is not the only problem. Even if you took the law that was on the books, they don't apply that law to these people. And that's why it's really important that we put pressure on and really look at who are we electing as prosecutors in this Mickey Ficky. Because we are electing too many people as prosecutors that are in the pockets of the police because they need the police to make their cases or whatever. It doesn't help to get a special prosecutor because that's just putting more money in the prosecutor's box, right? We actually need to look at, if we're gonna, until abolition comes, as I say all the time, as long as this criminal sanction system exists, it should apply to police the same as it applies to everyone else, right? And what that means is that, how many cases you know about, Tawanda, where someone gets charged with a crime? They didn't commit the crime. They didn't. We all know they didn't. Do they get to say, oh, I didn't do that, and then they just send them home? No. They arrest them. They question them. Even if they say, get an attorney like Nana. Nana says, don't say a word. They don't say anything. Do they let them go? No. They get put in jail. They have to prove their case. And so their case might take 2 years. For that 2 years, they're innocent. They literally did not do it. They have to prove go to trial. And if they are, if they are able to get out of the case, if they're able to get an acquittal, that's the time at trial where they're able to say, hey, this is what happened. I didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. Prove it. If they get an acquittal, great. They could be innocent and get convicted. And then if you're there, and end up killed in the death penalty like Trump is doing to all these people in his last 10 weeks. Okay? When it comes to the police, they never put them onto that track. They never get to the point where they're, getting arrested, where they're sitting up in jail waiting for a trial, where they're getting on the stand or not, getting questioned, where what they said happened is being put to the test. They never get to that point. That's a decision that prosecutors make. The DA, the state attorney, whoever that person is, that's the decision that they make. And so the pressure has to be put on them. And particularly in this day and age, if you have a prosecutor that, whoever, the district attorney, the state attorney, whatever it is in your particular state or county, if that person is refusing to prosecute cops, that person needs to not have a job anymore. Okay? That person needs to be removed from office. And someone needs to be put in there that's clear, because murder has no statute of limitations.
Amen. I'm glad you brought that up, sister, because that was my whole thought, Cindy. And anybody can tell you research on the West Family, the West Coalition, when we had a state's attorney, Greg Bernstein, that declined to press any charges on any of these killer cops, and he just totally laughed in my family face and told us, oh, well, this ain't good for a simple case. You got good civil lawyers, blah, all this foolishness. I told him, don't get comfortable in your chair, because I promise you won't be there. But unfortunately, we actually backed Marilyn Mosby, and I feel embarrassed and ashamed to say it, because even though she pretended to bring these charges for Freddie Gray and all this nonstop, it's like certain times they want to act like they don't know how to prosecute certain cases. You get what I'm saying? And that's ridiculous. And to this day, she have never got back with my family. A family that put her in office never got back to my family to say, with the new evidence that I gave, with the new autopsy report and everything, she promised that if I got any new evidence, bring it back to her, this, that, and the third. And I'm still waiting on hold for now 3 years. Ridiculous. But I'm glad you said that.
No, absolutely. Mic check. Absolutely ridiculous, right? We've got to, but that's a press that has to be made, because the system, the system protects politically those who are in power now, but we have the capacity as the people to get them out. Right now, the son of David Gilbert and Linda Whitehorse, I believe her first name is Linda, both of whom were political prisoners. David Gilbert is still in prison right now for their support of Black liberation back in the day. I'm talking about 40, 50 years ago. It's Chelsea Boudin. He is the DA of San Francisco. And he's committed to going after killer cops and making that difference. But it's new. He's new. We're going to check it out and see, right? George Gascon here in Los Angeles. They removed Jackie Lacey, a Black woman. But that Black woman wasn't for crap when it came to this issue. She had the opportunity over, a certain period of time. There's like 600 cops that she could have prosecuted and just did not prosecute one. Right. Not one. So they got rid of her. But now we got to look at Gascon. We letting him know we got rid of one, we'll get rid of you too. You know what I mean? And being serious about it. And that's what we need to do all over this country. Those of us who are serious, and we know it's not going to happen in a day. It may not be this one election. It might be the next election. But we've got to keep that pressure on. They got to feel like the power is in the people.
Absolutely. And it is. Yeah, so glad you said that. And then the saddest part, our prosecutor can go after an innocent man that the police gunned down shortly after they killed Freddie Gray. You can go after this man 4 to 5 different trials for no reason. It's just crazy. Like, and I'm talking about Keith Davis Jr. You can do some research on him. Keith Davis Jr. But anyway, but checking in, Uncle, I'm going to call you Uncle Bill. Uncle Bill, I want to say something about Uncle Bill because he's in my heart right now. He basically, y'all see him every week. He gives us the unfortunately sad report of police brutality list, that's happening, around this country and whatnot. But nevertheless, he's on staycation with his wife. They're going to they're doing different hikes. And I'm telling you, at 70, if I can hike, oh my God, I'm having my pumps on and everything. Watch out. Watch out when I get in my 70s. And I just want to give a shout out. We miss you, Uncle Bill. We hope you and your beautiful wife are having fun. And I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to meet him this week, but you'll see him. You'll definitely see him. And Brother Ben, do you have any more questions or comments with Brian?
I wanted to just say, talk about prosecutors. I wanted to say that I have a theory that one of the best things we could do to make prosecutors more responsive to what's really going on in the world is just have a rule that if you're a DA or a prosecutor and you leave that job, you can't take any other elected position for like 4 years, because so many of these people, they get into this job and they're just in it to rack up a body count so that they can run for office. And so, that's one of those things that you see so often, that people come into this position and then the next thing you know, they're running for mayor, they're running for state legislature. And so I just think that would be a way to go with that problem, is just to say you can be DA, but then for 4 years after that, 6 years after that, you can't be anything. You just have to, stand down and be a private person for a few years. So I don't know if that brings anything to mind. If it does, I'd be more than happy to hear it. If not, I can go with my usual West Wednesday sad list and see what we can do.
Okay, so before you bring the list up, do you have anything that you want to share with us before you hop off? And I want to again thank you so much for your time. And if you have any information where we can reach you, you can feel free to share that as well, right?
Thank you so very much. To the comment that you just made, that sounds at least like a very important first step, or another step, let's say, in this conversation. How many prosecutors then become judges? I mean, you're sitting in court and it's like you have 2 prosecutors. You got the judge prosecutor and you got the prosecutor, right? Especially when your client is Black. And for a lot of them, because they are looking for higher office, quote unquote, they do things that are against justice, that are not just, but will get you in with the people at the top, so that they can get their backing and their support when they next run for mayor or county supervisor or assembly person or whatever. So I think that's I literally have not heard that part of conversation before. So I think that's really interesting. and something that that folks should explore that are doing this kind of work. I think that in terms of, in general, I'm really hoping that people will tune into the Commission of Inquiry, certainly to the matter of Tyrone West, but as well as other folks that are graciously, whose families members are graciously coming forward, whose attorneys are coming forward to help share the information. I'm hoping that, we'll share the website information through West Wednesday. We really would appreciate that. And then if folks want to follow me, they can follow me at Twitter at Attorney Nana, Nana spelled N-A-N-A, at Attorney Nana on Twitter, at Attorney Nana on Instagram. And, you can find me there. And you can also look at the NCBL website for the work that we're doing, and that's at ncbl.org. Thank you so very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. This has been wonderful.
And thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to our day. And that's going to be on a Saturday. Is it the 30th, right? This Saturday on January the 30th.
Correct.
11 a.m. Correct my time, right?
Correct. Yes. So it's going to be Saturday. Thank you for pointing that out. Saturday, January 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So 11 a.m. Eastern Time, January 30th. Mark that right now on your calendar. Block out that hour. It's an hour hearing, and we really want to make sure that when we're seeing who's on, we want to know that you're in that number, giving support and love to Miss Tawanda and to the West family.
And again, thank you, my queen. And if there's anything you need before that, please reach out to me. And thank you so much. Just thank you so much. And you get so many comments on my page. So thank you so much again for your time. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the work that you're doing, and appreciate your support team. Thank you so much for supporting my sister. Appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, so I'm glad you guys got a chance to meet her. She's so wonderful. I'm just basically, we've been talking over the phone for the past couple of weeks, and that was my first time really seeing her face to face, but virtual and whatnot. It seems like everything is virtual. So please show your support to the West family, please. And while we watch the hearing, please keep my brother children, please keep my auntie, please keep my whole entire family, me, please keep me in prayer, because those things are hard. It's just really hard. Just like you're reliving it over and over again. And the trauma, unfortunately, for me, it never stops. Like, I do things like I pray, and I'm lately learning to count my blessings. Like, every time I have a real bad day, a sad day, I don't look at that, because that'll just take me. Right now, it just seems like so many people in the world are in their own shallows. People that were so close to you, say like they're the ones hurting you now. Like, nobody has understanding. Nobody's really showing real love. People, because we're physical people, we're able to literally see each other and hug on each other, love on each other. But unfortunately, because we're in this pandemic, certain things like whereas I used to love hanging out, I would give anything right now just to be able to put on some nice clothes and just go hang out with my sister and my cousins and them, and we just all love on each other and laugh and joke. But we're in real times where people are dying from the pandemic. Like, we're dying from this COVID. And I can't risk it right now. So we're going to be losing a lot of friends. We're going to be losing a lot of people that just don't understand that it's nothing personal, that you love them. You're suffering like they are. You're suffering too. But sometimes people don't understand, or they make it all about them instead of what it's really about. And that's about trying to get over this. We're going to get over it. We're going to be all right, y'all. Just got to hang in there. So if you do like I did, and let's try to look at the good things. You know what I mean? It's easy. Like today, I was having a horrible day. Like, I got the saddest news. I was, what, y'all know me. I love getting my cheesesteak. I'm at lunch. Got my cheese, got me a cheesesteak on my lunch break. And then I ran into one of my former students' grandmother, and she told me the saddest thing. And when I saw her, I saw my baby. Well. So I'm like, how's my baby? And she just like started crying with me. We started praying together, and my baby is not doing good. So if you pray, please pray for little Noel. Please, guys, this next 24 hours is very critical, very crucial. I'm sorry, give me a second, but please, this little baby is fighting for her life. A 6-year-old baby is fighting for her life, and she's the strongest baby that I know. She done been through so much with suffering from having seizures, and now on top of a pandemic. Please, y'all, pray for my baby, pray for her family, pray for her mother's strength, pray for her grandmother's strength. Please, guys, we need to just pray, lift them up, and even if you don't pray, just keep them in thoughts and spirit. This is a baby, and just while you're praying or thinking about them, think about, everybody that's going through something. There's so many victims that are right now in the hospitalized because of COVID. Like, COVID is real. It's wiping us out, literally. It's knocking down friendships, relationships. It's driving people to commit suicide. It's real. It's real. But right now, the only thing that can lead us out of all this is love. Love. And that's that unselfish love, like loving somebody and understanding that even if they say some things, they're being silly and they don't mean it. Don't take it to heart, because it could break up the friendship. It could break up so much. Just right now, we just gotta love people. We gotta love them from a distance. And while I'm crying, unfortunately, I'm a big crybaby. Sorry, but nevertheless, Brian has a real sad list that he's about to read. But as he reads these names, I want you guys to keep in mind that this is not just a list of names that he gets joy out of reading, right? Even though we highlight police brutality, but like I say, all these issues combined affect us, guys. It affects us all. To me, it's the highway of help. I don't give a damn what street you take. If you take, it's affecting us all. Literally, just before he go into that, I wanted to say something about 45. I'm not even going to call this animal name, but 45 is making history right now. 2 impeachments and one said, like, this is real. Like, this is real. Like, you can't make this stuff up. So as we go on and we're living, so much of history is being made, some things that we have never seen before. And I pray to God, we hope we don't never see those things happen again. Like, it's real. Like, it's real. Like, I'm literally on my lunch break. I ran into one of my family members. She was, we were talking about my uncle that recently passed away. It was his beautiful daughter, and we were crying about some things together. And I wiped my tears from that. I literally, once I saw her, I literally forgot everything. I actually left my purse, my pocketbook, my whole lifeline, all my credit cards, everything inside of my pocketbook, and literally walked out the cafeteria, went on back to work. And once I got to work, and I'm there for like 20 minutes, something just made me think about my purse. And I'm like, oh, snap. So I had to run back out my classroom, run back over to the cafeteria. But thank God there are still good people, because someone actually took my purse and gave it to security. Thank God, because I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go and get all type of stuff over. And now that's a lesson. I'm gonna stop cramming all that SHI good stuff in one pocketbook. But I said all that. I'm sorry I'm babbling. But I just said all that. You gotta look at the good blessings in every day. Like, literally go through some rough stuff, but at the same time, we blessed because we waking up, y'all. We still got a day to hit that reset button, and whatever was making us mad or whatever we didn't get a chance to do, we got an opportunity that some people don't have that damn opportunity to do. So just be grateful that this is a day that we'll never see. It's a day that we will never see again. Just be grateful, give thanks, give love, and remember when Brian reads this list, it's someone loved one that was snatched, someone family member that will never be the same again, someone that we need to pray for. So, and show our deepest sympathy and condolences for. So, mic check.
Yeah, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Okay, this week, we have a short list, but a tragic one. There's only one person on it. His name is Deontay Davis, 4 years old. So if y'all could just say his name.
Deontay Davis, 4 years old.
That's That's all the sad news that I have. Deontay was. They do say that he apparently died from a methadone overdose. I imagine someone must have just come upon it and thought it was something to eat. I don't know what the whole story is, but it's just another tragedy. And I think that so many tragedies are going on now. I think that we need to just stay inhuman with them and try to use, like I always say, just try and use this as motivation to move forward, not some reason to give up. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. And also I want to give a big special shout out to the teachers union that basically did a big carpool yesterday where they blocked off the whole entire North Avenue because they really care about not rushing to open and throw these kids back to school. Like, at least, thank God, I wish we had a teacher union that fight like that, because I would work, as much as I love working in the classroom, don't get it twisted, but however, you're putting lives in danger, like real danger. COVID is real. Children get it, and everybody can get it. So it's real. So I want to give a big shout out to the teacher union and everybody that came and participated in that very important protest, and speak out yesterday. So shout out. Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
So do anybody
Mic
have
check.
anything else to share before we wrap up? Any final things, thoughts? Ben, you have anything you want to share or say about what's happening in the world, anything?
I just want to say, just protect your peace. Like, there's so much happening right now. There's so much happening with the government. They're uncovering that this white supremacist raid on the Capitol has a lot of hallmarks of being an inside job. They're finding that the panic buttons that the Congress people are supposed to use when they're having an emergency were ripped out. They're finding that the Capitol Police did some things to let people in. They were there taking pictures, wearing MAGA hats, all kinds of stuff that has been revealed. There was some news today about how the day before some of these people who broke in were doing tours of Congress to figure out where all the rooms were and where to go once they got in. And there's video evidence of that. There's a lady with a megaphone who shouts into the people who are inside the building, "Hey, go to this room, go to that room, do this, do that," because she had gone on a tour and figured all this stuff out. There's all of that. There's the impeachment proceedings. There are all types of manner of corruptions. There's Trump trying to rush these executions through. And in the middle of that, there's also a pandemic. People are losing their jobs. We're losing 4,500 people every single day. Maryland's coronavirus cases are 3-4 times higher than they were back in April. Like, it's crazy. And so all I want to say is keep your peace. If you need to unplug from the news, unplug from the news. If you need to unplug from West Wednesdays, unplug from West Wednesdays. If you need to make sure that your sanity is being taken care of, do that. Because without that, you can't fight. And without that, you can't, you have to remember what you're fighting for too. Go out for a walk by yourself, read a book, take a nap, eat a good meal. Take care of yourself, because all of this is hard. I was down on the Capitol steps last week, and I didn't realize how much it affected me. I didn't realize, how seeing this dude climb over a wall carrying a noose would affect me. I didn't realize how, watching rabid people just destroy things and destroy people would affect me. So you have to take care of yourself. That's all I want to say. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you.
That was great, Ben. That was really great. I can't think of a better way to end West Wednesday. Do anybody else want to share anything before we wrap up this?
I definitely want to thank Ben for bringing up the conversation about the PTSD that so many of us have. It's impossible to do this work for long. It's impossible to truly call out the systemic violence that exists without becoming a target yourself if you persist. And we really need more conversation in our communities about how to deal with that long term. And I'm glad you brought it up. And the more I watch history unfold, the more I become certain that the only way our mental health can survive, like collectively, is if we create microcosms of the kinder, gentler world that we want to see, and the ways that we work together and rest and gain the momentum back to keep doing the work. And if we don't let ourselves, have that rest, if we don't let ourselves have that community in the moments we're living from inspiration and not duty, we don't get a taste of the world we're trying to build. And that stands even more the more marginalized someone is and the more removed they are from their own time, and the way that we're made to sell our time, the hours of our lives to function. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you, Go Hard, and it's great as always hearing your beautiful voice. Thank you so much for coming on to share with me. And I hope you're taking great good care of yourself these days.
I'm sure as hell trying. I'm definitely learning about it the hard way.
I'll be definitely praying for you, and you can always call me. I'm only a phone call back. So
Thanks, T.
You're welcome. So again, just like my brother Ben said, protect your peace. And real quick, I just want to say that keep your eyes on Annapolis next week, because it's legislation time, and you know that we are trying to abolish this vehicle. It needs to be gone. Like we get through it needs to be wiped completely out. And even with wiping that out, we still got work to do. The biggest thing for me is reopening all the places. A big shout out to my sister, Dr. Empress Chi. Just like you heard our other sister Queen talk about We Charge Genocide 2021 is coming, y'all. She will take 1 million cases to the UN. Something that's never been done before, or probably not done the way she's gonna bring it. And we shout out to everybody that's putting in this work. Shout out to protect your peace. Like Ben said, if you need to unplug from anything, right? West Wednesday, people in your life, whatever, it's okay to turn it off. Because guess what? As long as you're blessed to turn it back on, it's okay to turn it off. Same way there's an on button, there's an off button. Sometimes it just be way too much. You have to just completely turn it off and get in tune to yourself. Because like Ben said, if we get so overwhelmed with stress, we can't do the work that's needs to be done. And that's why I'm so glad that Uncle Bill and his beautiful wife out there actually doing a vacation, because they actually honestly deserve it. You don't know the hell people go through in their own personal relationship space, through health situations, just through anything, financial situations, anything. So if anything that I can do for anybody, you guys know I'm only a phone call away. We will definitely see you guys next week at West Wednesday. So we're going to take you out with part 2 of the video. And again, shout out to the West Coalition for putting this very sad but crucial, important video together. And it leaves that question, what are we going to do? We need to start pushing out on our state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby, and letting her know why is Ruiz in Chapman still working, but the focus right now is Ruiz, because that's who's on this video. And the saddest part, he was doing stuff before my brother Tyrone West was murdered, before he killed my brother, partake into my brother's horrific murder. He was doing stuff before, leading up 24 hours before, a week before, days before. And the sad part, even after he killed my brother, he's still doing stuff. Is it going to take for you to be a victim? Is it going to take for your loved one to be pulled over by Ruiz, stopped, beat, and just murdered for no reason, just because he's having a bad day? Something needed. Until he is off these streets in a cell block, guess what? No one sees. Thank you guys for your time. Mic check.
Mic check.
Remember, live to love to live, I love to love. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you, Chief.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working and working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat of violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam, and my sister Dina and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.